We are a custom frame shop, number one. So that means you bring your art into us and we help you choose the mats and frames that best accentuate your art. And then we're also a gallery, and we carry local Saskatchewan artists in the gallery. I worked at James Art in the 80s, and James Art was owned by Cecil James. And it was a business that's been in business since 1946. And then Gord retired and Glenn retired. So I bought the business and I was a mobile framer for 10 years.
I started in picture framing almost right out of high school, and I fell in love with it because I am an artist and it just seemed to fit. And back then, it didn't pay very well, so I did other jobs over my life, but I always came back to framing and learnt lots along the way because you kind of apprentice at every shop. Working for Catherine has been great. I love the energy here and meeting all the artists. It's not just a frame shop. We really support the local artists, and getting to see all the magnificent artwork is really cool. I even display some of my stuff here, so it's just a good fit and I love it.
We've got artists that from pyography, which is wood burning, to acrylic, to felt and wool. We've got oil painters, we've got very detailed painters, we've got abstract painters. We've got artisans, pottery, woodworking, and glass, and jewelry makers. So I call it an eclectic gallery. Like, look at that steampunk hat sitting on the wall tree right there. Like, it's got a working clock in it. How cool is that? I know most of the artists as well as I can. Person comes in to look at art, I can give them the background about that person.
Yeah.
And kind of talk about where the art came from. In a gallery, you got to know your artist. I text with all my artists, basically. And if they live in the city and somebody wants to meet them, I can text them, hey, can you come up and meet them? Somebody just bought your art, do you want to come meet them? And most of them will. If they've got time, they'll do that. I just like taking people's art and putting a frame around it, showing them how wonderful it can look with a frame, as opposed to just a blank, giving a piece of art to someone without a frame. There's a science to it. And I like the hands-on part of framing, so I like cutting the glass and the mats and the frames and putting it together for the customer. Well, the process starts at the design counter. So when a person brings in their art, whether it's an artist or a customer, we ask questions there and we pull mats and frames. And Sue usually does the majority of that.
Yeah, generally we start at the counter and pick out the colors that go with their piece and go from there. Once that's done, and the customer leaves, we check if we have what they have in stock or we order it in. And usually our turnaround for framing anything can be anywhere from a few days to several weeks, depending on if we have to order stuff in. For example, if someone brings in a needlework, we get quite a lot of that, cross-stitch, petty point, needlework kind of stuff. I physically stretch it, and whenever we're framing anything in the gallery, we have a no harm policy where if it can be reversed, we try to do that. We don't like to use a lot of glues and tapes and things that can cause permanent damage. All of our mat boards and backing are acid-free. The boards that I stretch a needlework on are acid-free, and we pin them and lace them. And I used to work at shops where they would staple them. Well, that damages them. So I prefer to do the lacing now, because it's 100% reversible. Everything we do, we try to keep it very minimally invasive to the picture, even if it's a photograph. So it's supposed to be the industry standard, but not everybody does it, but we try to keep it that way here. Whether it's a customer or an artist bringing in a piece of artwork, we take into account how big it is, how thick it is, what's it painted on, because it can really vary. And then we also get a real feel for that person's, how they want it to look at the end. So we tend to ask a lot of questions when we do that. It becomes a real relationship in getting to know what they want.
So that's kind of what my goal is, to showcase Saskatchewan artists, because I felt like they were being shoved to the back burner.
And it also gives a spot for emerging artists, because they don't know where to go and they can come here. Having a physical place like this to show stuff, because people still need to see it in person. You don't get the same feel from a piece of art seeing it on a screen than you do in person. I think a gallery like this is important. It's good for the province as a whole to have a lot of the arts showcased.
It's community.
Yeah.
And that's what Saskatchewan's known for, is community.
Yeah.
I feel like this is a community gathering site. And it's a place that people could come and get to know the artists and become friends. So my Instagram account is at dandelion.art.framing. My Facebook page is Dandelion Art Framing Gallery. And my website is www.dandelionartframing.ca.
Are you an artist who's interested in appearing on maxTV Local? Let us know at SaskTel.com/local.